As Franz Albrecht imitates the call of a fawn, the doe appears, closely followed by the buck, as if it was led by a string. The buck tries to keep control over the doe by cutting her way off. In the meantime, Franz Albrecht has taken a good look at the buck and decided not to shoot, as it estimates to be only 4 years old. The buck takes the opportunity to scrape and mark his territory. Another buck in rut appears on the field, a slightly abnormal head. He crosses the field in an attempt to catch the scent of a doe. Franz Albrecht does not want to shoot this buck either, as it's probably only 2 to 3 years old. Notice how Franz Albrecht plays with a young buck. Notice how he keeps the buck close by barking and calling. All the buck's senses are on full alert. Ears, snout, eyes are all focused on detecting where that sound comes from. Where are you? This is hunting art at its best, fascinating and very well done. This is a truly spectacular experience, but not something you just do. One is inclined to think that Franz Albrecht Oettingen Spielberg as an infant was not given a nappy but a roll call. It all began many years ago, as Franz Albrecht's father is also a passionate hunter like his grandfather before him. The entire family has passion for the gracious roe, and they taught Franz Albrecht the noble art of calling them. We now return to Scania in southern Sweden. Here the mission is to call and, if possible, harvest a really good head, which is well known by Dan, but which has not been seen for more than a week. In Scania, the roebuck hunting season begins on August 16th. But already a week earlier, Franz Albrecht was out in the area with Dan in order to scout on the bucks. From the middle of August, the bucks are often less active, as more and more of the does have been mounted and are out of rut. However, a few days ago, the hunters had contact with a buck, which has its core territory in a small islet in the middle of a large wheat field. As you can see, there is no doubt that this is a truly great buck, with an outstanding and slightly abnormal head.
That forest may be in front, that's just a small forest. Or in that one.
Meanwhile, Dan, Franz Albrecht, and Thomas Wengert have made a plan. Thomas goes out into the beet field and finds himself a good position, while Dan and Franz Albrecht sit down by the small grove. Now Thomas will call in order to keep the buck from coming too close to Dan and Franz Albrecht in the dense vegetation where it would be impossible to shoot. They want the buck to move out in the open.
Where do you think do you think he's in the bigger forest, or do you think he's over the other one? Against the hedge, maybe in the small forest there, somewhere. The wind is perfect. It's okay, it's okay. Do you think just here? Yeah, we stand just the wind blow like that. So it'd be perfect. Okay. We just be a little bit more.
Dan predicts that the buck will go through the hedge and over the fence, which will be ideal. Thomas is situated behind them and to the left in the beet field. As usual, Franz Albrecht tests his equipment and that the shooting position is good and that the sticks are put up properly. But suddenly, Dan spots a movement. The buck is just on the other side of the hedgerow.
It's the right guy. Just go. He's looking against us.
The buck apparently has heard the first tone and is moving slowly towards the hunters. The buck can only just be seen through the hedgerow. Apparently, Franz Albrecht has caught the attention of this outstanding buck. The question is whether the buck jumps the fence and gets into the field. The excitement is almost unbearable, even for a very experienced hunter like Franz Albrecht.
can see the head of the stone. He's coming to the left, left, left.
Dan was right. The buck actually jumps the fence. What a fascinating sight. Will the buck offer Franz Elbrecht the chance of a shot? Now there is absolutely no room for mistakes.
He's coming, he's coming. Super, 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 super buck. It's real nice. Helt fantastiskt. Helt fantastiskt. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Du kan nästan ta mina knä, de skakar också. My knees shaking. Look at mine. Helt otroligt.
I don't know what to say. I couldn't wait any longer. I know you wanted to see him longer, but I could not wait. And we had our Thomas was positioned in the field because we thought that if Thomas called, we could get him. We didn't want him to come in the thick cover here, so we wanted him to go out on the field. But while we were getting set up, we saw him on the other side of the wall. And Thomas was still getting set up, everybody was getting set up, and I just started calling. And he immediately turned and came towards us, and I promise you, my knees were going absolutely crazy. I don't know what to say.
We take a look, and then you can...
Är du fotograferad?
It's good. Läck mich fett!
Aber er kommt doch hier.
Der stand auf einmal schon da.
Ja, der hört es. Und ich habe ja gesagt, der kommt auf die Spitze raus.
You seen him? From the beginning?
That's not coffee.
No, when we call.
When we call,
Yeah. I looked at you for a few times and you was with a camera.
But the first thing he did, he came out and he looked at Thomas.
Ja,
Yeah, that's right, because he was...
You were calling.
Ja, freilich.
I didn't hear that. I
Ich
was
habe
calling.
dich gehört und habe gewartet, dann habe ich den Bock gesehen, dass ich gewusst habe, was los ist. Genau. Dann habe ich übernommen, dann hat er runtergeschaut zu mir, weil ich plattet habe.
Ich habe. Dann hätte ich ihn noch länger kommen
Ja,
lassen.
freilich.
Ich habe gedacht, weil er sie gesehen hat, deswegen.
We didn't hear that. I didn't hear it either.
Ja,
No?
and Thomas says he was calling and that's why the buck was looking. I thought the buck was seeing Thomas. So I was like, no, no.
Me too, because it was a...
Die Platte, dann hat er zu dir
black-
geschaut, habe ich plattet, zu mir.
Okay,
Ich habe gedacht, du hörst mich und hörst auf, weil dann wäre er runtergekommen.
but down he goes.
You know how big he is?
Big, big. And I could see the head behind the stone. And
Wow!
I think over there.
You do not have to be much of a hunter in order to share the two friends' joy over the successful hunt.
Oh my god. He was maybe how far? 1 kilometer away from where he usually is?
Not so far, maybe from his main areas is about 500-600 meters. So that's not so far.
Only in Sweden. Wow. Usually I know what to say and I say stuff, but I don't have anything to say.
No. Silence is good. And you hit them well as usual.
Thank you.
3 at the same day. Got this, got this, got this.
Tuck, tuck, tuck. This buck is so big that it's hard to believe it's even a roebuck. That's the most, I mean, just look at him. I don't even know what to say. And we've been hunting him. We called him in last week. That must have been maybe the 10th of August. And he was 20 meters up to us in the cornfield. And he looked extremely big, but he's even bigger now. And we've been hunting him all yesterday. Where we called him the first time, which is maybe 800 meters or a kilometer in the direction from where he came from today. But we didn't see him. Dan saw all the other bucks that he knows and everything was exactly like it usually is, but this buck was missing. So I wasn't sure. But Dan on the way out tonight, he was like, yeah, you don't worry. I have a good feeling, I know my bucks. And my heart was pounding like I cannot explain even. My sticks weren't in a perfect position. And I was just hoping nothing happened and nothing would go wrong, because Dan said he's one of the most careful bucks that he has. Usually when he sees something or realizes something, he goes immediately. Some of the other bucks, they stay and then you can play with them a little bit, not with this guy. And he's a very old buck, and he was a big 6-pointer last year. And this year he looks like this. And he's very, very special. It's a unique buck. There's only one of him in the world.
When a buck of this size is taken, the other hunters will naturally love to see it when they return after nightfall. In order to pay the animal the last respects, it's therefore put on parade flanked by candles, so the other hunters can share Dan and Frans Elbrigt's delight of the evening's result. They also express their thanks to Eric Peterson of Diana Hunting Travels, who made it all possible. The spirits are very high. It's not often that a buck of this quality is taken, and we must see a little more of Frans Elbrigt's calling technique. The buck here swallows hook, line, and sinker, and Frans Elbrigt can nicely and easily pull him in. The buck's movement and compact build indicates that he is not a young animal. The heavy-set body and thick neck is evident as it comes directly towards Frans Elbrigt. The antlers are situated close to the skull, and the coronets are dipping down to each side, which is often a sign of advanced age. Now the buck is only a few meters away. How old do you think it is? Franz Albrecht estimates that the buck is only 4 years old, and naturally he lets it go.
The buck that just came in to less than maybe 50 meters. It's a very nice 6-pointer. You can see the coronets are already moving to the side of the head, which is a sign, can be a sign for age. We think he's probably 4 years old. He has a big